यच्छ्रेयोऽन्यदुतैव प्रेयस्ते उभे नानार्थे पुरुषंसि नीतः तयोः श्रेय आददानस्य साधु भवति हीयतेऽर्थाद्य उप्रेयो वृणीते श्रेयश्च प्रेयश्च मनुष्यमेतस्तौ सम्परीत्य विविनक्ति धीरः श्रेयो हि धीरोऽभिप्रेयसो वृणीते प्रेयो मन्दो योगक्षेमान् वृणीते सत्वं प्रियान् प्रियरूपांश्च कामान् अभिध्यायन्नचिकेतोऽत्यस्राक्षी नैतान् शृङ्कान् वित्तमयीमवाप्तो यस्यां मज्जन्ति बहवो मनुष्याः दूरमेते विपरीते विशूची अविद्याया च विद्येति ज्ञाता विद्याभिप्सिनं नचिकेतसम्मन्ये नत्वा कामा बहवो लोलुपन्त अविद्यायामन्तरे वर्तमानाः स्वयं धीराः पण्डितं मन्यमानाः दन्द्रभ्यमाणाः पर्यन्ति मूढा अन्धेनैव नीयमाना यथान्धाः न साम्परायः प्रतिभाति बालं प्रमाद्यन्तं वित्तमोहेन मूढम् अयं लोको नास्ति पर इति मानी पुनः पुनर्वशमापद्यते मे श्रवणायापि बहुभिर्यो न लभ्यः शृण्वन्तोऽपि बहवोऽयं न विद्युः आश्चर्यो वक्ता कुशलोऽस्य लब्धा आश्चर्यो ज्ञाता कुशलानुशिष्टः न नरेणावरेण प्रोक्तः एष सुविज्ञेयो बहुधा चिन्त्यमानः अनन्यप्रोक्ते गतिरत्र नास्ति अणीयान् ह्यतर्क्यमणुप्रमाणात्।
हरि ओम। The previous satsang, the second valli, the first mantra, we stated the path of the good and the path of the pleasant. We said the path of Preya is also known as the path of ignorance, is known as the path of action, karma. The path of Shreya, the path is also known as the path of Jnanam, the path of Moksha. The path of karma is known as the path of ignorance because avidya, ignorance, is the root cause of action. Avidya is synonymous to vasanas, and all actions, all desire-prompted actions emanate from the vasanas. So vasana produces your thoughts, desires, and actions. So the path of the pleasant is known as the path of ignorance, which is the path of avidya, also known as path of action. I'm just repeating. The path of Shreya, the path of the pleasant, is the path of ignorance, avidya. Path of action, the path of Shreya, the path of the good, is path of jnanam, leading to moksha, is the path of knowledge. When the path, one who takes to path of action, invariably develops a bhavana of doership. When the karta, the doer, performs the karma, there invariably there is an element or notion of the doership that comes in. And having done the karma, there is bound to be a karma phala. So the bhavana of bhokta comes in. So when you do karma, there is the karta, the doership attitude, and the bhokta, the enjoyership attitude. These both come and influence the doer. So these two, the doership attitude and the enjoyership attitude, come and influence your karma because primarily they are desire prompted actions. So every doer must be very mindful. So ignorantly, you get bound by the two binding factors, which is the doership attitude and the enjoyership attitude. When you get on to the path of the pleasant, because you're acting on desire, you're acting on kamaha, you will be bound by karma, the doership attitude and the enjoyership attitude. But when it comes to the path of the Shreya, which is the path of the good, which is the path of knowledge, he is not prompted by desire and actions. His actions are towards the larger good, which is he makes his actions yogic. But in the process of trying to unite with the higher, which is the path of the good, when you're trying to unite with the higher, with the knowledge of the higher, you renounce the karma and the karta. When you take to the path of the good, you renounce the doership and the enjoyership attitude. So the spirit of renunciation comes in because of knowledge of the higher. And when you practice, when you act with the spirit of renunciation because of the jnanam, you denounce or renounce the doer and pronounce the Atman, the reality. So you negate the lower, you assert the higher. You operate with a mere instrument. You think you are a mere instrument. So the path of the good and the path of the pleasant are two opposite ends. I hope you have got what I've said. If you have not done your study, if you have not done your sadhana, if you have not been with the books, if you're opening the book only after the last satsang, it will all be grey. Nothing will enter your head. You have to be on top of the study, top of this knowledge every day to be able to attune to it right away. Just for those who are not on that subject, I repeated more than twice just to get familiar with the concept. Okay. Now, in the second mantra, he said, both the good and the pleasant approach the mortal man. Means every human being is all the time presented with a dilemma. Am I to do this or am I to do that? At every phase of your life, you have a choice to be a giver or a taker. Every action, you have a choice to lead yourself to the path of the good or the path of the pleasant. Am I to spiritually evolve or devolve? Every action, you have a choice. Every action. So don't give me an excuse that you didn't have a choice. Out of ignorance, you did not have the ability to choose. That's about all. Knowledge was everywhere, every time it was available. Oh, I did not know any guru. Forget not knowing a guru. You are not ready for it. You don't have to know a guru. You have to be ready as a student. The moment you become ready as a student, the guru will come in search of you. You don't have to go in search of a guru. So the knowledge and wisdom is all the time around you. But you chose the lower, therefore the higher never came to you. That's about all. So when the good and the pleasant present to a mortal man, what do the wise do? Through viveka, through discrimination, they prefer the good from the pleasant. Obvious. The choice of the wise, they constantly do actions for their own upliftment. But the ignorant one, the beautiful word, often word used to describe the ignorant are the manda buddhi. Manda buddhi means the small intellects. These intellects are very small. They can't think big. But the ignorant one chooses the pleasant for the sake of acquisition and preservation, for yoga and kshema. So they choose the pursuit of acquiring which they have not got. And how do I safeguard what I have acquired? All their thought from morning to night is what can I acquire? How can I expand? What can I get for myself? Is all the thought is expansion, expansion, expansion. They're only interested in acquiring more for themselves. Secondly, how can I preserve what I've got? Acquisition and preservation. This is the primary occupation of their thoughts. Why? Because they did not have the clarity to choose the path of the good. When they had the choice, they didn't have the intellectual ability to choose the higher, so they get caught up in the lower. So if you want to know what category you belong to, find yourself where you are destined now. If your destiny is all the time occupying you with what? Yoga and kshema, that means you are manda buddhi. If your destiny is all the time dealing with what I've got, how do I preserve it? Or how do I acquire it? If that is what your current destiny is, you have been that. What you wish to be is from now on. You can say, no, I don't want to continue to live this life of a manda buddhi. No, enough. Enough of running behind the world. It's a vicious cycle. In the fifth mantra, he's going to say, you will lead a life where it's the blind leading the blind. Nobody is going to tell you because one fellow is leading the other and you are amongst the blind people. Nobody will know where you are heading. It is fools going in circles and you are just one amongst them. And whom you're looking up to is yet another fool. One fool looking at another colossal fool. So both will inspire each other and these people will go in circles and circles again and again, round and round. Janghanyamana, he says, the fifth mantra, the very famous mantra. So the manda buddhi, the unintelligent, the aviveka means those who don't have the ability to discriminate between the lower and the higher, the dull-witted, they pursue acquisition and preservation. So all of us, we have a choice at every point of time. But the problem is it's not as obvious as it seems. Oh, thank you, sir. It is, if we have a choice, and if it's an obvious choice, I think we can make a choice. But what is the problem? The problem is in the way the whole thing presents itself. The whole problem is, if I can put it in a very poetic way, it baffled me when I first learned it. We say the path of the pleasant is that it's like, imagine joy appearing in the mask of sorrow. That which is beneficial to you appears in a mask of sorrow, which is the path of the good. The path of the pleasant is sorrow appears in the mask of joy. So it's a mask. It is camouflaging itself and is not appearing as it should. So what is false appears as right. What is right appears as false. Yes, sir. I hope you got it.
Guruji, here I think the path, joy appearing in the mask of sorrow is a path of good.
Good.
And path of pleasant
is opposite, ulta.
Okay.
What is ulta? Can you tell me the ulta of that?
Joy appearing in the mask of sorrow.
Sorrow appearing in the mask of joy. What is sorrow? Which is the path of the pleasant. The life of acquisition and enjoyment is sorrowful.
Yes.
There's only pain and downfall written if one is running behind acquisition and enjoyment, isn't it? But how does it appear to you? It doesn't appear to as sorrow. It appears to as very glamorous.
Very glamorous.
Oh, wow. Look at that villa. Look at that house. Look at that.
It's like a slow poison.
It doesn't appear as slow poison. It appears nectarine.
Right.
Sir, how do we define true happiness? How do we define false happiness? False happiness is like nectar in the beginning, poison at the end.
Right.
True happiness is poison in the beginning, nectarine in the end. If all good things to us are pleasant in the beginning, mark my words, please. If all good things to us are pleasant in the beginning, and if all bad things to us are unpleasant in the beginning, we don't need Shastras, we don't need the Upanishads, we don't need a guru. All of us will automatically make the right choice, because the natural affinity in us is to choose something which is pleasant and detest that which is unpleasant, isn't it?
Yes.
Since we choose pleasant or unpleasant, we are choosing pleasant or unpleasant, but that which is pleasant is actually sorrow for you. Imagine if I tell you to eat food, what you're eating with a 30% less salt or 50% less salt in your food. Or what food you're eating with spice, 50% reduced spice. Oh my God, other day we went out with a family, invitation, and we had to go. When I was telling put zero spice, everybody on the table were looking at me as if I'm doing crime. How can you eat with zero spice? Okay, put half spice, a quarter spice. No, put less spice. Okay. My God, one mouthful, it was like a volcano in my mouth. I said, what is this? I told you all, put zero spice. They don't understand. It doesn't come. And for them, without spice, there's no spice in food. There's no spice in life. It is unpalatable. What I'm trying to say is unpalatable. You can't sacrifice that momentary pleasure. You fall for that. I must tell you all, first prerequisite of sattvic food is no spice. I think if there is a way of really strictly drawing a line of the food that we eat, especially in our satsangs and the prasadam, you should be extremely mindful that there should be no spice, or if at all, you can show the spice bowl and take it away. Don't put it inside that. If you're so particular, it must be a part of your masala box, show it and take it away. Don't put into it. Do not put spice into your food. It is the most rajasic and unhealthy for your spiritual sadhana. I was advised to put in the satsang. I've officially announced. Now I've done my job. Rest to you people take care. Because now of late, food has been going skyrocketing spice in the satsang. So they said, please let it come officially in the satsang, Guruji. Everybody will take note. Only you say they will listen. Nobody will listen otherwise. Okay, I have told. Now please make sure you don't put more spice. Now this is the beauty of life. Everything in life. Everything in life is like this. That which is beneficial to you has an unpleasant beginning. That which is, am I right? That which is beneficial to you has an unpleasant beginning. That which is detrimental to you has a pleasant beginning. And all our lives, we are making choices, that which is pleasant to us. And in that process, we are making wrong choices. Every aspect of life, whether be it physical exercises, whether be it material pursuit, whether be it emotional drama, whether be it intellectual knowledge, or whether be it spiritual sadhana, this principle of making wrong choices applies at all levels of personality. I wish I can just expand on the wrong choices we make at all levels of the personality. At the material level, what's the wrong? How do we examine? Since you mention of it, perhaps we may not come onto this concept again. But since I mention of it, how do you apply this wrong choice we make at all levels of our personality? Starting with material, then physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. Now, the wrong choice is based on the principle that which is pleasant, that which is detrimental has a pleasant beginning. That which is beneficial has an unpleasant beginning. Based on this theorem, as it were, the wrong choices one makes at all levels of the personality. The first, at the material level, the wrong choice is one wishes to live a glamorous life. One is enamored by temptations and tries to live far more than his capacity. How do you live beyond your capacity? You live a life of borrowing. If you have a capacity, you can afford to live in a 1-bedroom home, you will get a 4-bedroom house. Because your job qualifies you for borrowing. Your salary pay gives you the ability to borrow. So you start borrowing, living beyond your means. Why? That life is more glamorous than living a life within your means. But to keep a check that my desires and needs must be within my ability to satisfy them, means if your desires are within your income, you're a rich man. if your desires are more than your income, means if your lifestyle is more than income, you're a poor person. If I would go to buy a curtain, I'll be naturally gravitated to buy an expensive curtain. And if I not one curtain, if I have to put 20 curtains in my house, multiply that by that many times more, I'm obviously going beyond my budget. Add all the ingredients that make my house wholesome. So you are not able to live within your means. So if you have to make the choice to live within your means, you must understand, you must not fall a prey to temptations. It may be unpleasant to live within your means, but ultimately it's good for you at the material level. Now, I want to ask you all, how do this apply at the physical level? In fact, I'm happy to note I hope I pronounce it correctly, because Shubraji, is that how you're pronounced, sir? Good to have you at the satsangs.
Myself, Subramani Khadanga, sir.
Subramaniam, right? Subramaniam, right?
Subramani Khadanga.
Subramani Khadanga. आप कहाँ से हैं जी? Where are you from, sir?
I belong to Odisha.
Ah, lovely, lovely. Yeah, are you from Orissa now? Are you connecting from there?
No, I am presently staying in Hyderabad.
Oh, in Hyderabad. Lovely to have you. Lovely to have you, sir.
Thank you.
I know you were there in the previous satsang. I was not aware of
Yes.
your introduction, but good to have you.
Yes.
If you have any thoughts, if you wish to be a part of this interactive thing, please raise your hand. You can be very much a part of the dynamic interaction, Ji. Okay.
Yes, I will.
Sure. Thank you, Ji. Thank you. So how do you apply this wrong choice or the dilemma we get into in the wrong choice at the physical level? Okay, Vijayji, any thoughts?
Radhe Radhe Ji.
Yes, Hari Om.
You. Actually, in fact, I somehow walked on this path because I could see a few years down the line, living in Hong Kong is going to be more and more unaffordable. And because I wanted to slow down my pace, I decided to leave Hong Kong and come to India, where standard of living is lower, so that you can stretch your money for a longer period of time. So, yeah, I mean, it's easy to get caught up in the glamorous lifestyle, but being on the path for so long, the desires kept reducing to the point where now if I have a 2-bedroom house, 4-bedroom house, it doesn't matter anymore. So yeah, I mean, makes perfect sense.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that at the material level you're talking, but can you apply the same principle at physical level? Because we are analyzing it at all levels of the personality.
I guess the level of desires that we have, I mean, it's still physical level is still connected to material level, right? Because
No. See, one is your material needs, as you could relate to your own personal life. Now, physical is different to material. Physical is you are referring to your sensory pleasures. You're talking of your senses and their demands vis-a-vis the material. Though there is a connect, but we are looking at from different levels of the personality.
well, I mean, to me, physical is like you identify with the body. So things related to, maybe dyeing the hair or, wearing a nice ring, or, you're enhancing your physical appearance in order to live up to that lifestyle, or to hang around in certain circles. It could also mean going. Like some people like to go to the gym and really build those six packs, and it's all about the appearance part of it. But at the end of the day, where's it leading them? As long as you have a healthy body and you're you're able to stay fit and do your thing, it's having these muscles and everything like that is not necessary per se. It's more about you identify with the physical body. That's the only connect I can see.
Okay. Yes, you're not far. You've answered it. In fact, if I can spell it out, the wrong choice is to revel in the senses. People associate reveling in the senses, sense enjoyments as true joy. If I can give a license to all my sense perceptions, I fall a prey to taste of the tongue, sight of the eyes, touch of the skin, etc. Falling a prey to sensory demands and to indulge, giving a license to senses is the concept of enjoyment or joy. To live a life of happiness is to license the senses. But when you indulge in the senses, it leads to, ultimately, it leads to a point of neutralization and law of diminishing value, where there is no more happiness you derive from that contact. It is pleasure in the beginning, but poison at the end. On the contrary, what is the opposite of sense indulgence is to live a life of sense withdrawal. You withdraw from the senses. You live a life of self-control, self-withdrawal. You live a life of abstinence. It's not a licentious indulgence in the senses. You abstain where as much as you can. And whenever you are required to contact, you contact. There's no punishing yourself. But withdrawal seems very painful. That is what it is. Withdrawal is like sorrow appearing in the mask of joy. What is truly joyful is abstinence. What is truly painful is indulgence. But it appears ulta. People look at abstinence as pain. The manda buddhi, the alpa buddhi look at abstinence as pain and indulgence as joy. You with me, Vijayji? Before you could raise your finger, I asked. So I come first.
So then in that case, I mean, a natural tendency, given a choice, for example, when you go out for a meal, I like to go for something that's, good food, whether it's, going to South Indian food. Okay, there's one particular one that serves the most authentic, or, the Chinese food that's fine dining, that's really authentic. So how do you?
Please hold on until I come there. When I come there, you say, "Oh, Guruji, I already went yesterday or last week. I'm sorry, I'm not going to take you there. I don't want all that." Okay.
There are too many, so there's no shortage of it.
No. There's no shortage of restaurant. You say, "I have had it, Guruji, so you please find your way." Don't say that, okay?
The law of diminishing value is not kicked in, so we'll go again and again.
That's okay. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so how does one proceed in terms of introspection when choosing fine dining, simply because the quality of the food, obviously
we're not talking. Okay, there also you either eat junk food or you eat a food which is palatable, which may not be rich, but it is hygienic, it is safe, it is healthy. We're not talking of that ground. Even if you go to that level of interpretation, the people are very comfortable eating roadside food, where you and I would think 10 times before I walk into that. We say, "Oh, the food there on the street tastes much better than the authentic food in the restaurant." Why? Because all the unhygienic processes he uses, it makes it more palatable. There are certain class of people only are attracted to that. So you can draw a broader interpretation to that, but primarily whether you fall a prey to the senses or you master the senses. What can you repeat that sentence I said? The small minds or the small intellects.
In which regard? Because I've written so many notes over here.
Right, no problem, Ji. I will read out for you. So the small intellect, they glorify indulgence. They don't pursue life of abstinence. That's a wrong choice. But the wise choice is to court abstinence and abstain from indulgence. Means you keep away from indulgence.
Right.
You get that? So that is the choice with reference to physical level. So at the material level, you live beyond your means or within your means. So live within your means may not be glamorous, but that's the right thing for you. You may live beyond your means just to be in the glamorous circle or in the world or the social circle you're in, but then it is ultimately detrimental because you are living in a vicious cycle of borrowing and living beyond your means. Okay, Ji.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Ha, Panigraji.
Guruji, in fact, I am just trying to understand this concept from a mental and physical level. The fact is that when I think of going beyond my limit, supposing an athlete, he wants to, he knows that he can, let's say, a high jumper, he knows that he can't jump a certain level, and but unless he challenges that, unless he goes beyond that, then obviously he can't do that. So the fact is that first he has to mentally accept that yes, he can do, he can go beyond his limits, the so-called limits that he has set for himself. Unless he challenges that, then physically also he won't be able to do. So as far as all the athletes are concerned, all the sports persons are concerned, so there is always a question of challenging their so-called mental limit.
So there is a difference between that and what we're talking in the context. When we talk of raising your bar to be able to raise your level of performance or raising the bar, you're talking of achieving higher goals. You're trying to reach higher stature. You're trying to draw greater potential. That's a positive side of it, where you are attuning to a goal. Those are goal-driven actions. But here we are talking about actions where you have a dilemma, where you make a wrong choice. A slightly different concept. But whenever you perform an action, it has to be goal-driven, where you are able to raise your ability to contribute or raise your ability to become a better version of yourself, as they say. You know, every time you keep shining. That is different. It doesn't touch on those elements at all. We are talking of a dilemma that we face in life, and we are clouded because of the way the world is. The world, how it's presenting, what is good for you is unpleasant. What is bad for you is pleasant. And that wrong choice, how does it manifest? And in that, we are making a wrong choice. That's the observation. Okay, Ji? Yeah. Now, moving to the emotional level. Anybody can attempt how at the emotional level does this work? Harish, any idea? At the emotional level, how one is misled to make wrong choices?
I think people don't analyze objectively. I think they get caught up in attachments and obsessions and they get too involved unnecessarily with the world. They need to understand that they need to act as a witness more than the actual doer in the dramas. So they get very caught up in the attachments and obsessions and want to be included. A lack of confidence also. All those factors come into play with the emotions, which they need to withdraw from.
No, absolutely. I think you spelled it out. At the emotional level, people get carried away with getting involved and developing attachment. They fall a prey to superficial emotions. It is very enterprising to develop attachment. It is very, you feel goody-goody to develop attachment based on emotions. I like you, Ayo, Rama, Krishna, that kind of, why are you not talking to me? I feel very bad. All that emotional drama. You get attached. All this buttering each other. All buttering business is attachment. I have nothing to do with your personality. I maintain an attitude of detachment and witness. It may be the most bitter thing, but to be detached in a relationship is the toughest. You all may be objective at the material level, but when it comes to emotions, you all get caught up in emotional drama. Isn't it? So only when you are detached, you have pure love. Attachment, Setuji has said, attachment is a selfish relationship. Only when you're detached, you have pure love. That's difficult to cultivate. Very easy to fall a prey to selfish emotion, selfish relationship, which is attachment and involvement. Emotional. Intellectual level, wonderful, Harishji. At the intellectual level, it is easy to cram information where you run behind gurus, you run behind variety, you run behind spice. Oh, you know all the gurus what they are saying. You follow all the gurus what information they're giving. You're running behind one after the other. Entertainment. It's spiritual entertainment. Once you know, I am not interested in the length of study, I am interested in the depth of study. I hold on to one guru, one source, and I keep going till the very end because I see the same truth in this man. He may not be as glamorous, as appealing as other modern gurus are. Why are you falling for glamour and following? Oh, he has got 5 million. Like us other day, Srinivas Reddy ji just shared for my information, not that he is trying to switch gurus. I hope not. Please hold on to whoever your guru is, sir. I am not saying I am your guru. Whoever your guru is, please hold on. Don't switch. He told that 50 million followers, he's teaching Bhagavad Gita. And for a moment, he's telling me, Guruji, how many followers have you got? I know there was a question in his mind. I know you don't have that question. I'm planting thoughts into you. I'm planting words into your mouth. So, do I follow a guru, the most popular guru or the unpopular guru? How does it matter how popular a guru is? Oh, he talks in a better way. He gives better examples. How does it matter? That is falling for the non-essentials. You're interested in length of study. You must be interested in the depth of study. There's so many gurus out there. Would you keep considering better guru than yours? Like you're married to a woman, there are more beautiful women out there. Would you keep considering, I should keep considering better ladies out there? Always there'll be a better guru than you, then you will keep switching, is it? Sorry to use that example. As gross as that. Switching gurus is as gross as that. Come on. Just because something better is there, you don't drop or you just don't move on. You're not content with what you have. That's what I'm saying. Because what you're seeking is length, you're not seeking the depth. One who seeks depth, your search ends. I have often told in classroom like this, that my search for knowledge ended long time ago. Long time ago. So I don't look out to listen to new gurus. If something comes my way, I don't mind listening and seeing a new perspective. But I don't look out to go and search for gurus. Because what I am searching is there in the very information that I've got. Because what I'm searching is the depth, not length. What I'm searching for is wisdom, not variety of knowledge. Each guru has his flavor. Each guru has a persona. Each guru has an aura. But don't fall for that aura. Don't fall for that superficial search. Search for the wisdom, and the search ends. Because like I say, there is water in every point. The question is how deeper you go. There's water there everywhere. Even a desert, there's water. But you may have to go a little deeper. You'll hit the bed of water. You can't say there's no water at all. At certain depth, there is no water. At some point you go, you'll get water. So at the intellectual level, to fall for the length vis-a-vis depth. And where do you get depth? Depth you get through manana. The most unpleasant thing to do is getting up at 4 o'clock and manana. The most pleasant thing to do is keep reading books, literature, without digesting, without assimilating, without reflecting. So people make a wrong choice there. Lastly, at the spiritual level, people getting carried away by the non-essentials of religion. The non-essentials of religion are superstitious beliefs, blind rituals, mechanical rituals, and blind faith. Mechanical rituals, superstitious beliefs, and blind faith are the non-essentials, which is known as the karma kanda, which we took mention in the second mantra last satsang we took mention. But to be interested in essential, which is Atma Vidya, you need to make that. It may not be as glamorous as going on a pilgrimage, going to temple tour, going out somewhere. If I were to say, sit in your home and sit at a desk and reflect on the Shastras, it's not the glamorous. To go on a temple pilgrimage is very glamorous. I want to go to Badrinath, Kedarnath. For what? To see God. Please do. But the same God is there right at your desk in the Shastras. You do that. That's not appealing. How many can do that? So we fall a prey for wrong choices. Yes, Shivaji?
Hari Om. Yeah, this
Yes, sir.
spiritual shopping is really it's okay. I think I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. The spiritual shopping is again one more thing which people go behind. But if not for that inquisitive nature, I don't think many of us would have come to this class. Because even though all of us would have had different masters, there is a need for there is a desire to wrong in having masters earlier. There's nothing wrong in even holding on to them.
So
it does not make Ramana Maharishi not.
There seems to be an intermittent issue, sir, an internet issue. We are not able to hear you clearly. Okay, I think he will come back. Okay, we'll
Is it
move
okay
on
now?
to
Spiritual shock.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
Am I audible? Yeah. Yeah, spiritual shopping, it is again one more circus we get into. But all of us would have had some different masters at different times. It does not mean that you should let go of it. You can hold on to the content, which almost all the masters are saying same thing. They are not saying anything different. We can definitely, because they are not saying anything different, they don't talk about any other masters. They talk about what they want to talk about. Simple. There can be many masters. The choice is with the one, because with whom you are able to really relate to, understand that you know that you're the path, that makes sense. But there's nothing wrong with all the masters. They are doing what they have to do. They have said to do. They are not waiting for any follower. It's a follower who is able to connect, they continue with that. It's only with the content.
Right, Shivaji. Absolutely. No, you're not wrong at all. I think we are again losing you,
The
Shivaji.
movies may change. The screen is the same. The content is up.
So I think the connection is bad. I think we'll have to move on. I think it's still bad, sir. We'll have to move on. Thank you. Third mantra, please.
श्रेयश्च प्रेयश्च मनुष्यमेतस्थौ सम्परीत्य विविनक्तिधीरः श्रेयो हि धीरोऽभिप्रेयसो वृणीते प्रेय.
Carry on. I think you are playing the second mantra. Carry on. It can come to the third mantra, please.
आद्य उप्रेयो वृणीते श्रेयश्च प्रेयश्च मनुष्यमेतस्थौ सम्परीत्य विविनक्तिधीरः श्रेयो हि धीरोऽभिप्रेयसो वृणीते प्रेयो मन्दो योगक्षेमान् वृणीते सत्वं प्रियान् प्रियरूपांश्च कामान् अभिध्यायन्नचिकेतोऽत्यस्राक्षी नैतान् शृङ्कान् वित्तमयीमवाप्तो यस्यां मज्जन्ति बहवो मनुष्याः.
O Nachiketa, thou hast renounced these desirable and pleasing objects of pleasure. Judging them by their real merits, thou hast not accepted this road of wealth in which many mortals sink, many mortals drown. Manushyaha, bahavaha, manushyaha, majanti. Majanti means drown. Many people are enamored and they are drawn into this road of wealth which you have renounced. Atyasrakshi. Atyasrakshi means you have renounced. What have you renounced? Priyarupan, which are very pleasing in appearance. Kaman, desiring objects. Because of abidhyayan. Abidhyayan rather. Abidhyayan means you have judged them. Judging them by their real merits. Means you understand, as the analysis that we did in the previous mantra, you have that acute perception and you understood what is the path of the pleasant, what is the path of the good, understanding that you have renounced the desirable and the pleasing objects of pleasure. And you have not fallen a prey to the road of wealth. So there's no doubt to which category, O Nachiketa, you belong. So Yama, the Lord of Death, the guru of the text, an irrepressible outburst of applaud towards his student. He's so happy to note that Nachiketa has not fallen a prey for yoga kshema, which is acquisition and preservation. You're not fallen a prey to the road of wealth. A very famous poem we often quote is The Road Not Taken. It's a deserted road because nobody has taken it, because it's an uninviting path. A path which is not taken by many is the path Nachiketa had taken. So the Lord is praising Nachiketa here. You belong to the Shreyo Marga, not the Preyo Marga. Fourth mantra.
दूरमेते विपरीते विशूचि अविद्याया च विद्येति ज्ञाता विद्याभिप्सिनं नचिकेतसम्मन्ये नत्वा कामा बहवो लोलुपन्त.
These two, which is the path of Shreya and Preya, known as ignorance and knowledge, are diverse and lead to different ends. I consider Nachiketa to be the seeker of jnana, knowledge. For many objects of desire did not tempt thee. So the moment you fall a prey to temptation, you are in the path of Preya, which is known as the path of ignorance. Even though we have covered it earlier, here he spells it out. The path of Preya is the path of ignorance. The path of Shreya is the path of knowledge. They're diverse and leads to different ends. What are the ends of path of Shreya and what are the end of path of Preya? Path of Shreya leads you to moksha. The path of Preya leads you to Rajima. If one takes the path of Preya, where does he go?
He goes down further to the worldly things, like he'll devolve in spiritually.
How does he end up devolving?
More materialistic, more or further more materialistic he'll become.
The path of the, what do you mean materialistic?
Devolves spiritually, like moving away from the path of the truth.
Okay. Okay. Yes, Seduji?
Hari Om Guruji.
Hari Om, sir.
He will go to hell. He may born as an animal, or he will suffer sorrow, and suffering leads to sorrow.
Animal is really enjoying life, sir. Everybody is coming and watching animals. So why are you degrading animals? I don't understand.
Because, no, it's
People pay premium money to watch these animals. Safaris, you want to go to the savannah in Africa, you want to go to these forest reserves to watch these animals in their pink of health. They are so beautiful, so enjoying nature. We are only locked up in rooms, in air-conditioned halls, and suffering all sorts of diseases. Like this, yesterday somebody told me that there is a new amoeba or some kind of a thing which is eating brain is come in India somewhere. Animals have no such problem.
Animals, they always live in fear. They can be attacked by any time, and people go enjoy. These people are getting pleasure, but animals are they have fallen, they always, they don't have intellect, so they always fall prey to senses and
Sir, no animal ever falls a prey to senses. I stand to correct you there.
no, they eat and
They have perfect self-control. No animal is obese. No animal is unhealthy. No animal has diabetes. No animal has got any disease. If you compare 100 zebras, or 1,000 zebras, 10,000 zebras, you will not differentiate. Not one fellow is overweight, underweight. All look the same.
all pets, they get into problems.
Because they are associated with us. The problem is not the pet, the problem is the owner of the pet. That is what I'm getting at. There's nothing wrong with animals. The problem is with the human beings. So I please that this edition of that statement has to happen, Gayatri Ma. Nothing is wrong with animals. Perfectly fine. It's a problem with human beings. Problem with us. One look at us, one fellow is overweight, one fellow has more tummy, one fellow has this back problem, one fellow has that, one fellow has bald, some fellow has dyes there, one fellow has this, one fellow has that. None of us are perfect.
Not using intellect, he is misusing the Purushartha. See, that's
correct. No. Indeed, sir, a human being is given intellect to take care of ourselves. But an animal doesn't have the intellect, but providence takes care of. Providence, every life of the animal is so pre-disciplined, pre-organized. Their eating habits, their mating habits, their migratory habits, their sleeping habits. They will not do anything beyond what is meant for them. Why? Providence has provided that whatever it needs for them, it is pre-set. So they don't have a choice. So they live a life disciplined. It's predetermined. But providence helps us through intellect. And in that process, we make a wrong choice. But if you use the intellect wisely, you can make a right choice. Okay, Ji. Panigra Ji, I hope it's not the subject of animal.
It's like ignorance is bliss. Like we know that the animal is a dog, but the dog doesn't know that he's a dog.
He doesn't know he's a dog. He is just himself, no? True. So there is a very strong support for animals, Setuji. So please watch out in future. There will be backlash. It's better to have no buddhi than manda buddhi. Manda buddhi is dangerous. If you don't know, you'll surrender. The problem is you think you know, that's the problem. So in the fourth mantra, Nachiketa is being said, you are an intelligent chooser. I consider you a seeker of knowledge because all the sensory pleasures, all the many objects of desire which was offered by Lord Yama, he gave him in the second boon, he has given additional boons. Said, choose what you want. Choose all the heavenly benefits, all the whatever objects of desire you want, all of that you can ask. He said, I offered thee, but it did not distract you from the objective of seeking Atma Vidya. And they did not tempt you. You are a sedulous seeker. A sedulous seeker. A sedulous means a seeker who is dedicated and diligent. You are a student of Vidya. You are a student who will accomplish the outcome of Vidya, which is moksha. You are an accomplisher of jnanam because you have not fallen a prey for any temptations. So the word sedulous means one who is very clear, very dedicated, very diligent, who doesn't get distracted by the various temptations. Nachiketa, I consider you a man of knowledge. These both are diverse. They lead you to different ends. One is a path of darkness, other is a path of light. Sad, but we don't see it. They cannot coexist. Like knowledge and ignorance cannot coexist. Like light and darkness cannot coexist. All right, so I think we will leave it at this. We'll come back and take up the next mantra and the following satsang. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.